Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Creator Economy Livestream podcast show. It's me, your boy Nez. I don't really. I was thinking about this all morning. I'm not going to. This is something I don't think I've ever talked about on the channel. I've talked about it in different capacities. I've talked about it in a lot of varying ways, but when it relates to content creation, your business, I don't think I've ever been this direct about it. So, welcome to the show. The title of this show is This One Thing Will End Your Career as a Content Creator. And I want to talk about a lot of things. I'm not even going to do the kind of typical intro and the music and all that. I want to just get right into it. And I also welcome everybody, and I hope you'll stick around because I want to take your questions too. I want this to be not only my take on this subject, on this topic, which is a little heavy, maybe for a Sunday morning. Replay viewers, podcast listeners, you're probably watching and listening to this after the fact. Welcome. It's great to see you. But I'm really, really interested in discussing something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, content creators, content creation, being a content creator is a business. You must treat it like a business. I talk about this all the time. And, what does that mean? Well, what it means is you've got to create value. You've got to put yourself out there. You've got to engage. You've got to build community. You got to build an audience. You got to make and create content that is actually going to help somebody, change somebody, transform, inspire, educate, inform, entertain, whatever the case may be, whatever your niche may be. And, you hear all sorts of advice, okay? You hear all sorts of tips and tricks and hacks and gimmicks and strategies and best practices. And you consume books, podcasts, live streams, videos, courses, etc. And there's a lot of common denominators. There's a lot of, very, let's say, consistent information out there, a lot of bad information out there. And, I don't think we talk about this. And so I want you to stick around. You're going to learn a lot. I'm hoping that by the end of this broadcast, you're going to be inspired. You're going to have a renewed vigor, a renewed energy about your content, about yourself, about your purpose, about what it really means to be a content creator. And I'm going to take your questions. So you definitely want to stick around. Let's see who's here first. Sweeney Dunstan in the house. Good to see you. Fantastic to see you, Sweeney Dunstan. Welcome. We got Jonathan in the house. Wow, I haven't seen you in a while, Jonathan. Good to see you. We've got Not Near Mint. Good to see you. Brian in the house. Good to see you. My man Lewis in the house. Chris Stone on LinkedIn. Great to see you. If you wouldn't mind, I would really appreciate it if you could share this stream out, because sharing is caring. Feel free to tag me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Share it to your community tabs. Share it everywhere that you can, because we want to help and inspire as many people as possible. Okay, so Nez, what is this thing that's going to end your career as a content creator? Well, it's so funny and ironic how the universe works, because I myself was experiencing a little bit of this recently. And I've been kind of paying attention, as a business owner, as a creator. I pay attention, and you must pay attention, and you must be sensitive to the kind of times you're living in, to the zeitgeist, if you will, the culture, the era that you're living in. And it's funny enough, I don't even know how this happened, but I was watching this awesome Anthony Bourdain documentary. I think it was on net. I can't remember if it was on Netflix or HBO, one of the streaming platforms called Roadrunner. I highly recommend you check it out. And I did an entire video on Anthony Bourdain when he tragically ended his life back in 2018. I did an entire video. A lot of you guys might not know this, but I have another channel where I talk about anxiety and overthinking and stress and mindset because I myself have gone through debilitating anxiety and depression as a young man, especially from the ages of 18 to 29. I mean, it's still something that haunts me. It's still something that I think about. It's still something that can attack when you least expect it. I've been studying, researching, practicing, discussing, looking at all the different methodologies, putting into work, actually using my own empirical experience to try to overcome this. And so I have another channel all about anxiety and overthinking. As a matter of fact, we're about to cross 1,000 subscribers on that channel. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about and what is a real, palpable, almost invisible assassin, if you will, is the feeling of, you hear all the time being a content creator. I've said this a million times. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It's extremely hard and difficult and requires an exorbitant amount of work. You've heard me say blood, sweat, and tears. We try to keep it extremely real on this channel. We try to keep it extremely practical, and everything is anchored in reality, at least hopefully that's been the case. And there are times, there are days, especially if you're a creator, because being a creator, you're kind of a natural empath. Being a creator, if you really want to be a good creator, whether it's content creation, an artist, a painter, a writer, a musician, whatever, I think the best ones are the ones who are very receptive to everything. Their energy is wide open. And their moods can oftentimes reflect what's immediately in their environment. They're able to feel things more viscerally and more palpably than others. And that has a big cost. That has a big detriment to it. And Tish, already said it. Good to see you, Artist Haven. I'm kind of beating around the bush here. But what I'm really talking about is Nez Nation, ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet, everybody around the world, burnout, mental health, anxiety, self-consciousness, imposter syndrome. These are real things, and they will end your career, not only as a content creator, but they get in the way of being a good father, a good husband, a good wife, a good friend, a good son, a good daughter, a good colleague, being able to provide for your family. It can impede everything in your life, let alone content creation, let alone your business, let alone your ability to pay your bills, etc., etc. But it's a real thing. And I don't know why. I was watching that kind of saying. Let me know in the comments if this makes sense to you. That saying that I don't even know if it's a saying, but things arise, things show themselves when you need them the most. Things happen to you, or things come into your consciousness or come into your reality when you most need them, right? The things that are happening to you right now are happening because you absolutely need to experience them, etc., etc. Well, I actually believe that. Let me know in the comments. Give me a hashtag yes or a hashtag yeah if you understand that, or if that makes sense to you. I really just, I got to be honest with you guys. I was very apprehensive about today's stream. I think one of the things I always try to advocate on the channel is get yourself out of your own way. Don't think, just get out there and do and execute and make mistakes, fumble, mumble, stumble. That's okay. I think I overthought this stream. I've been thinking about this stream nonstop for the last 48 hours. Ever since I scheduled it or even had the ideation to even think about doing it, I've been thinking about this stream nonstop. And I, you know, I wasn't, I've talked about this topic a million times. I've talked about anxiety. I've talked about mental health. I've talked about mindset a million times, but really being this raw and vulnerable about it, and really, I just really want it to be another one, not another one of those. Oh, woe is me, or oh, poor me. I'm so lost and frustrated, and I'm having. I mean, there's so many things happening. Another thing too. Same age as me. So Anthony Bourdain was 61 when he ended his life. And the documentary, good to see you, AL in the house. The documentary is called Roadrunner. It's just Anthony Bourdain. It's on one of the streaming sites. I can't remember which one, if it's Netflix or not. I really honestly, I can't remember. It might be HBO Max, but it's a great documentary. And this is really interesting. This is really interesting because I think it all just culminated into this stream. Number one, I myself, was going through some kind of mental, gymnastics and burnout, if you will. I really was, over the last couple of days, maybe even week or two, kind of feeling it, kind of feeling, God, I need to just take a break. I need to just relax. And the first thing that came into my mind was the advice that I, keep giving, which is be consistent, be consistent. You've got to produce, you've got to execute, which is true. And I also said that YouTube will penalize your channel for taking breaks. Really, all of these platforms will penalize you for taking breaks, even though they try to advocate that you can take breaks and they encourage you to take breaks, right? I'm not saying, I never said that taking a break wasn't a necessity. What I said is that taking a break will definitely penalize your channel, because there's a lot of advice out there that, oh no, YouTube won't penalize you. You'll be fine. Well, it will. Your views will go down. Your subscribers will go down, which in turn your revenue will go down. So it's a real thing. I mean, so that was the first thing that popped in my head was, God, the documentary, a lot of just, it's summer, the kids are off. You start thinking differently. The seasons change your moods. As a natural empath, as a creator, you're more sensitive to everything. The Anthony Bourdain documentary. Then this unbelievable thing happened. Same age as me. A gentleman, police officer in Las Vegas, was sitting under a bridge and a metal beam just crushed his car. Gone. Hasta la pasta. Just like that. Same age as myself. I don't look for stories like that. I don't seek out stories like that. It just kind of popped on my radar randomly, completely randomly, but I don't really believe in randomly. And that is kind of the genesis of, I was like, man, I really need to talk about this. I really need to, because it puts everything in perspective. What is really important? And taking a break, taking care of yourself is not a sign of weakness. Self-care, whatever you want to call it, is not a sign that there's something wrong with you. It is just as necessary as buying a microphone, investing in your business, hiring somebody. It's just as important, if not more important, for your professional life as a content creator, business owner. Creating content builds your thought leadership, your personal brand. We talk about that all the time. You don't have to be a full-time content creator per se, but When I talk about these things, creating content has been the engine to all of my opportunities in the last decade, right? If not more. And so, and I want to take your questions too. I want this to really be an open conversation. So stick around. You're going to get a lot of value from this. And so, what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, all these things culminated into I want to talk about this on the show. And I want to tell everybody forget all the advice you've been getting, forget all the tips, the tricks, the strategies, forget everything. It's really, really important that you trust your own intuition, that you trust your own instincts. Because if there's one thing I can impart to you, Nez Nation, if there's one thing I hope that you can glean some benefit and value from this show is you're in charge of you. And if you do what everybody else does, if you do what everybody else wants you to do, you're not going to be happy. And you're going to find yourself with a brand, a business, a channel that could be successful, that could be growing, but it's not anything that you want to do. And you will burn out. Your channel, your business will burn out because it has to be something that comes from here, which is why we always talk about purpose. One thing I want to share. Oh, thank you so much. Look at that. No number one gamer. I like that name. Good to see you. Hey, good to see you. Nano's in the house. Good to see you. Nano says mental health is important. Yes. Sweeney's in the house. My 2-year break nearly killed my channel. Been back at it since January and slowly coming back. Love that. Tish says my best friend took his own life at 32. Suicidal thoughts. No age. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I love that. Yes, AL. I love this. I really appreciate this. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, AL. It's good to see you. So another thing that just popped in my head was I've even said this. I've even said, nobody cares about you. I've said this kind of advice on the channel. If you want to grow a business, if you want to grow a content creation, be full time, you got to make it all about them. It's got to be all about your audience. It's got to be all about serving them, right? I thought about this. And this is kind of interesting, being a middle-aged dude, I'm not a young buck, right? It's interesting to think about these things, and it's interesting to kind of understand that there is no end-all be-all. There is no formula. There is no recipe for success, and that everything changes and everything is always different. And you should always just do what you think you should do. It could be as simple as that. I think that's a Bob Dylan line. Everything passes. Listen to this. Everything passes. Everything changes. Just do what you think you should do. That is capital T true. One of the things that was so interesting was I remember in the documentary, at the Anthony Bourdain documentary, it was one of his friends was interviewed in the documentary, and he said, I got this email from Tony being Anthony Bourdain. Really great documentary. I highly recommend it. It's called Roadrunner. Just Google Roadrunner Anthony Bourdain, and you'll find out where it is and how to see it. Not sponsored, no advertisement. I just thought the documentary was revelatory. It was beautiful, and it really delved deep into being a creator, I thought, and what is success, what is failure, what is truth, and just really beautiful things, especially if you're an artist or creator. I think Mr. Beast is an artist. I mean, you can't just call him a creator. I think MKBHD is an artist. I mean, these are artists, right? They're creators, and the reason they're so good and the reason they have a following is not by accident. It's because they're very in tune. Their antenna is razor sharp, and they're able to find things that they're interested in and make that palatable for their audience. And so, one of the things that just popped in my head, which I think is so interesting, is one of his friends in the documentary was interviewed, and he said, I got this email from Tony. And in the email, he said, And he said it was totally out of the blue. Listen to this. This is so good. This is not a spoiler alert. This is just a really powerful moment in the actual documentary, which relates to what I'm talking about here. So in the he said, I got this random out of the blue email from Tony. And in it he said, "Hey man, we're both successful. We've both reached unreasonable success." He this is a time when he was at his peak. He had his Parts Unknown show, which is phenomenal. I mean, think about it. And I've heard people say this about him too. It's like, man, how could you end your life when you have the greatest job on planet Earth? You get to travel the world to exotic places all over the world without paying for not on your own money, but on CNN's money, and just try food everywhere and get paid to do it. That's all you need to do. Sounds so rosy, sounds so easy and simple, right? So in the email, he says, "Hey man, we both found success, but I want to ask you something. Are you happy?" That was the email that he got. And he mentioned it in the documentary. And he said it was totally random, totally out of the blue. And in hindsight, as he got that email, he was thinking to himself, I wish I would have reached out. I wish I would have done something more, because that was a desperate plea for help. He wanted to understand himself. He wanted to understand why he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with all that success. And it's interesting when it comes to, and let's bring it back to the show. This will end your career as a content creator. If you're doing it just for views, if you're doing it just for money, if you're doing it just for notoriety, fame, or whatever, influencership, if you're doing it just for reasons that are not sustainable, if it's not coming from a place of purpose, if it's not coming from a place of fulfillment, you're going to lose. Promise. That's why I always start with purpose. Yes, audience is essential. Messaging is essential, but you notice the triangle. I start with purpose. What is your purpose? Not do what you love, right? Not do what you love. What gives you purpose? Now, oftentimes, what gives you purpose is something, it's even bigger than doing what you love, in my opinion. And so start with that, right? Because you can get success by chasing views, chasing the money, chasing the fame, chasing the notoriety. You can get success if you go after it with gusto and commitment and dedication. You can get success, but you may find once you get that success, it's impossible to sustain and you're miserable. Content creation should be fun. Building a business, building a brand should be exciting. It should be scary. It should be exhilarating. It should be confounding. It should be full of all the things that make life interesting. I love this. Luis says, without your health, there is no you. I love that. Fantastic. Tish says, the best advice I got in my 20s, you cannot control other people, but you can control your reaction to them. I love that. Yep. Love that. Not near mint. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So I actually just thought of something too, that I think is really powerful. And if you have any questions at all, I think, how to combat this. In other words, how to alleviate, what's the resolution? So how do we do it, Naz? You're going to get burnout. You're going to feel burnout. You have to take breaks. You have to get away from it all. I'm actually taking my family on vacation very soon. And I don't even know if I'm going to have a stream next week or the week after that. I'm not sure. It's important to walk away. Walking away is one of the greatest business investments you can make. It sounds very paradoxical. It sounds contradictory, but it's absolutely essential. Sometimes you just need to walk away. Sometimes you need to turn everything off. Sometimes you need to turn everything off and just walk away. There's nothing wrong, absolutely zero wrong with taking a break. But Nez, you just said it'll penalize my channel. You just said that my views will go down. You said I can't afford that. I can't. Yeah, but you can also you can't afford the long-term effect. Short term, you're going to be affected. There's no doubt about that. Short term, there's going to be ramifications. But if there's one thing I hope you've gleaned and one thing I hope you've received from this channel, and that is this: it's essential that you think of content creation. It's essential that you think of thought leadership, personal branding. It's essential that you think of your business, if you're really serious about it, as a long-term investment. I mean, it took me 10 years to get here. It took me, and within those years, I almost feel like I put in decades of work. Decades of work, because I was working 365, not taking any vacation, 24/7. It's extremely important that you think long term. You're not going to get the type of success you think you're going to get, that all these gurus are touting, that all these YouTube ads, all you need to do is register here, sign up here, coconuts and yachts. That's on the menu today, coconut drinks and yachts. It's just not true. It just doesn't work that way. I hate to break it to you. Is this a beautiful life? Absolutely. Do I love living life on my own terms? Absolutely. Do I love the fact that I can block my schedule for the next 2 weeks if I want to? I don't have to ask anybody's permission. Of course. Does it come at a cost? Does it come at a price? Capital Y, yes. Absolutely it does. And so take your break. Get away. There's nothing wrong with it. Yes, there will be short-term effects. Yes, you're going to see things drop. You're going to, I used to look at my analytics every single day, and I've kind of stopped doing that because it's not healthy. Because if you know entrepreneurship, if you know content creation, if you know this life, which I know it better than most, it's one of these. The graph always looks like this. Long term, it's going up, but short term, it's like this. It's a roller coaster, right? Stop looking at those analytics every single day. Stop. Well, Nez, I thought you said data is important. Of course it's important. Well, Nez, I thought you said let the analytics and the data dictate what you do. Of course you should do that. But you don't need to look at it every day. You'll drive yourself crazy. Look at it, once a month, every quarter, and then really dive deep. That's much more healthy and much more actually effective long term. Mental health is a real thing. Burnout is a real thing. Take time off. Take your breaks. Heal yourself. And sometimes it doesn't have to be so dramatic. It doesn't have to be dramatic at all. It doesn't have to be like this retreat, or I'm going to go find myself, or I'm going to go. It could just be as simple as turning everything off for a couple of days. It could just be as simple as going outside a lot more, spending more time with your family, spending more time in introspection. Not too much time, because that can be dangerous. You don't want to overthink, but it could just be as simple as that. Just take a breath, breathe a little bit. I'm planning on doing that. I hope you understand the importance of that. If your audience is with you, if your audience supports you, they will understand, they will support and actually encourage you to take breaks. It's a rough and tough, especially if you're not somebody who has a large team or employees. It is a rough, tough, thankless, ruthless business sometimes. You're at the mercy of a lot of things that are out of your control sometimes. You're at the mercy of viewers' interest changing, people's behaviors and habits changing, algorithms changing, platforms changing, technology changing. I mean, the Apple iOS update completely turned millions of small businesses upside down. How many of you are aware of the Apple iOS update? There's so many things that are out of your control. But it's always been my experience that I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. It's always been my experience. If you just stay the course and you do the best that you can with integrity and you do the best job that you possibly can, you don't take any shortcuts. Another thing that was awesome in the documentary, I think Bourdain said this, is that the ultimate sin is mediocrity. It's the ultimate sin. Don't settle. Don't half-ass it. Don't think you can just get away with, well, I'll just post. Because, I mean, I'm supposed to be consistent, right? I'm supposed to post. That's how you grow a channel. I need to post video. The ultimate sin is mediocrity. I want you to remember that, Nez Nation. The iOS update completely, flipped my business upside down too. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I talked about it on past streams. I would encourage you to check it out. There's so many things that are out of your control, but it's been my experience, okay? If you do your best and you work hard and you have integrity and diligence, things have a way of working themselves out. The people who show up, the people who are persistent, okay? Persistently themselves, and they don't try to engage in gimmicks or hacks or, quick fixes or quick schemes, fast tracking everything. Everybody wants things fast. It's a long game. I cannot say that. I can't repeat that anymore. I mean, I can't say it enough. It's a long game. It's a extremely long game. Not months, not weeks, years, sometimes decades. I'm not trying to say this to discourage you, to dissuade you. I'm just trying to be real with you. I'm trying to be really honest with you. I've been running businesses for decades. I've been learning customer service, human behavior, audience psychology, community development, audience development for decades. Communication skills, delivery, public speaking, keynote addresses, timing, pacing, energy, conciseness. I've been working on these things for decades. It takes all of those skills. It takes all of those skills to be a successful business, content creator, professional. It doesn't really even matter, any profession. It takes all of those skills. But specifically in relation to this channel, we talk about the creator economy. We talk about content creation. We talk about personal branding, online business, specifically with that. Does that make sense? Give me a hashtag yeah if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. Sweeney says, I dig into mine once a week now. Got too disappointing and frustrating to do it daily. Yeah, and there's really no point in doing it daily. Sweeney, I love the way you said that. There's really no point in doing it daily. I used to do it daily, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, bi-monthly is fine. Bi-weekly is fine. Even, I even talked to a couple of creators I respect, and they don't even they look at it quarterly analytics, quarterly data, which makes sense, right? Because you have more data, you have more information to go off of. So look at it quarterly, and it's just better for your health. Burnout is real. People oftentimes, the majority of business owners and content creators succumb to quitting. It's not that they don't have what it takes. It's not that they don't have success in their sites. It's not that they don't have quality content. They just end up quitting. They just end up quitting. It's a tough, rough, hard road. Blood, sweat, tears. It's important to get away. It's important to feed your soul. It's important to look at, the clouds, get out, take a long break, breathe some fresh air, get away from all these devices, get away from all these screens. It's good for your soul, your inner game, not just your outer game. And I don't know, I don't really, I'd love to hear from you guys. Does anybody have any questions, comments? I'm here, and replay viewers, podcast listeners, I'm here. You can see the thumbnail here. I'm going to bring it up right now. I was very, very apprehensive. I was very nervous, actually. I had anxiety about talking about this topic because, I don't really have much more to say than what I've already said. Maybe this will be the shortest stream on the Creator Economy Livestream podcast. I don't know. But I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear what questions you have. I'd love to help. I want to serve. So if you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Replay viewers, podcast listeners, feel free to leave them in the comments as well. But I also have a questionnaire form in the show notes in the description. Highly, highly recommend. And if you're wondering at all how I'm able to bring up all these cool comments and how I have this cool ticket taper, how I have, all these, I'm able to go live on Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. Why I think live streaming is probably the best way for you to build your brand, your content, your business, and get things done quickly. And it's a great way to engage and have interactive content with your audience. I've been live streaming since 1775, and I've been doing this a long time. And I've tried every platform out there. I've tried every software, download, browser, but whatever. Some of them aren't even around anymore. I've been using StreamYard for the past 3-4 years, and I've never used anything else. And so if you're interested, I have a free link in the description and the pinned comments where you can try StreamYard and actually go live right now, not have to download anything, browser-based. Also, with my link, you don't have to put in a credit card. You know how you get these free trials of whatever platform, software, etc., and you have to still put in your credit card? You don't have to do that with my link. So go get your free trial of StreamYard right now. Start going live. Build your audience. Build your business. Anthony says, my brother gave me a great compliment. Most quit. So good job. They do. I'm sure you've heard that saying before. I don't know what it is, like 99% of businesses fail in the first year. That's a very daunting number, right? On this channel, we're about to pass 18,000 subscribers. We just passed 4 million views on our my wife and I's channel, our gaming channel. We just passed 13,000 subs on that channel. We've got our Amazon channel. I mean, we got a lot of businesses going on. And speaking of Amazon, really quickly, I get your messages and DMs all the time. If you're interested in, Nez, I want to create content. Nez, I want to build a business. Nez, I want to build my thought leadership. Go to my shop as an Amazon influencer. We have our very own storefront where I've organized everything you need. Budget-friendly mics, cameras, gimbals, tripods, graphic cards, whatever you need. External hard drives, headphones. We've got the whole 9 yards. Everything that you need, budget-friendly. Go to my shop, Amazon.com. Link in the description and in the show notes. So, where was I? What was I talking about before that? Oh yeah. So that's a really daunting number, right? And so I don't know if you guys know this or not, but less than 2%, there's a lot of channels on YouTube. Less than 2% of channels on YouTube have 10,000 or more subscribers. We've got 2, working on 3. And so how did you do that, Nez? I keep saying this to you. There's nothing special about me. There's nothing even original about me. I just put in a lot of work and I maximize my time. This gentleman, this officer who was just sitting under a bridge. I mean, he's got a wife, 2 daughters, I think. Maybe I can't remember if it's 2 daughters or 2 sons, but he was my age. You don't, as soon as I tweeted this the other day, as soon as you're born in this world, I don't mean to get dark here, but as soon as you're born in this world, you're old enough to leave it. And we have no idea what could happen. We're not guaranteed a second in this thing called LIFE. What you do with your time is something that you really need to manage well. I wish they taught this in school. They don't. They teach us the capital of Nebraska. They teach us the capital of Guam, but they don't teach us how to manage our time and how time is the ultimate commodity, that there's no refund on your time. You get no refunds on your time. Where are you spending it? Where are you spending your time? Tish, good to see you. It's always great to see you. I'm too stubborn to quit. If I can help one person help themselves, all the work, blood, sweat, and a ton of tears is worth it to me. I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Brian. It's good to see you, Brian. Make sure you smash, if you haven't already. Give us a big thumbs up. I'd really, really appreciate it. And so, it's an interesting season right now. Sometimes you may have all the success you've ever wanted, and you may ask yourself, why am I not happy? Has that ever happened to you? Let me know. Have you ever gotten what you wanted? Have you ever actually achieved what you wanted and then find yourself going, well, why am I not happy now? That's a weird thing, isn't it? I've been striving. I've been going after this for decades, years. I finally got it. And that's a scary thing. That's a harrowing thing. That's a kind of a bummer. I mean, it is, Why aren't we talking about this? Why isn't this being discussed? Be careful what you ask for, right? You may get it. It's interesting. I'm sorry to hear that, Anthony. My best to you and your family. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's a real thing. There's help out there. There's people who care. Nobody wants you to do that. Nobody wants you to suffer. Nobody, even your worst enemy, does not want you to suffer. You may think they do, but deep down they don't. They're just frustrated and suffering themselves. And misery likes good company. But nobody wants you to suffer. Reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. Take breaks. Yes, be consistent, but not at the detriment of your mental health, not at the detriment of yourself, not for the sake of something that is not going to give you fulfillment and happiness. It's supposed to be fun. Live streaming is supposed to be fun. Content creation, building a business is supposed to be exciting, exhilarating. Yes, it's going to cause fear. Yes, there's going to be pain, but it's all worth it. To Tisha's point, it's all worth it. Dr. Elo in the house. Good to see you, Dr. Elo. How are you, sir? Welcome. Dr. Elo has a great channel. Dr. Elo has a great live stream show. Love Dr. Elo. Good to see you. We're talking about the one thing that will end your career as a content creator if you're not careful. Treasure that. In here, your inner game, your mental health, your soul. We're talking about your soul here. Your soul is on the line here. I don't mean to sound like a pastor. I'm definitely not trying to sermonize here. But it's important to talk about this. It's really important to talk about. Does anybody have any questions? Let me know in the comments if you have any questions at all, anything at all. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to answer any questions. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the one thing that will end your career as a content creator, pretty much anything. if you don't treasure that, if you don't talk about it. And sometimes talking about it is the ultimate therapy. It's the ultimate remedy, is just discussing it, just putting it on the table, just getting it off your chest, is sometimes very therapeutic. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, talking to a professional, there's no shame in that. There's no stigma in that. Reach out if you need help. But the real thing I wanted to say was trust your own instincts, trust your own intuition. Forget all the advice that even I give you. Forget all this, be consistent. Forget all this, create content every week. Forget all this, make it all about them, not about you. Sometimes you just got to discard all that and really think about yourself and take care of yourself. Sometimes you just got to use the force, right? I always, for some reason, that line jumped in my head where C-3PO tells Han Solo, do you know the odds of surviving an asteroid field? And he says, never tell me the odds. I love that. My favorite line in all the Star Wars movies, never tell me the odds. Sometimes analytics and logic are not the end all be all. I mean, if I did everything logically, I wouldn't be here today. Is it logical for somebody who's almost 50 to be live streaming on a Sunday morning on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, and Twitter? There's nothing logical about it, but I love it. There's a lot of things in life that there's logic and analytic. You can't quantify everything in life. You just can't. Playing video games in your 40s, is there anything logical about that? No, but it's absolutely good for my soul. It's absolutely good for my soul. And I can't explain that. I can't quantify that. It's not logical. Falling in love with somebody is oftentimes very irrational. Falling in love with something is oftentimes very irrational. These are things we should talk about. These are things we should discuss. And we never talk about these in the universities, in the schools, on Twitter. We never talk about this online. These are things we should talk about. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments? Anything at all? I hope this was inspiring. I hope just discussing this, I hope talking about this. I mean, just to kind of wrap up here. I mean, I'm happy to take any questions if you have any. But, just to wrap up here, if you don't really have the awareness of what's happening inside you and the awareness that you shouldn't be killing yourself, to make that next video, that next post, whatever. You shouldn't be putting your business above your health. You shouldn't be putting your content, your Instagram profile above your health. I'm here to tell you, please heed this. I've seen it a million times, myself included. It's important to put yourself above all else. It's really important. It's important to breathe. It's important to take much needed R&R. It's important to get away from it all. It's important to come back fresh, because your audience can see when it's becoming stale. You know that it's gotten stale. Your audience will definitely feel that it's gotten stale. And if you're just doing it to do it, you're going to burn out faster than a cheap candle at Walmart. I promise you. Pastor Nez, yes. What is sandline? What do you mean by that, Jonathan? Pastor Nez, no, please, for the love of God, do not. Do not call me Pastor Nez. No, definitely not. No preacher here. No preaching happening here, Anthony. I love you to death, brother. It's good to see you. I got to be honest with you. These past couple streams, woo! If you miss them, holy macadamia nut. So I'm bringing up the thumbnail. Passive income stream. real passive income ideas in 2022, go check out that video. Phenomenal. Last week we did the best 30 profitable business ideas of 2022. You got to go check that out. It's on my channel. Those are amazing, amazing streams, amazing, just a plethora of knowledge. If you're looking for passive income streams, if you're looking for real business ideas, make sure you go check that out. Dr. Elo, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, man. That means a lot. Thank you for always providing so much great content. You too, Dr. Elo. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. That is so awesome. You're the best, Dr. Elo. Go check out Dr. Elo's channel, man. He is a live streaming phenomenon. Go check him out. Thank you, Chris. Chris says these are incredibly important reminders. Having someone close to you. Yep. Someone to tell you that you need to take a break. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I think most people, myself included, thank you, Anthony. I think most people are afraid to do that. I think most people feel that if they take a break, their audience is going to go find somebody else. But that's unsustainable. It's just unsustainable. I took a break probably for the first time in years. I took a long break, actually. I think you guys remember this. I had surgery on my voice, but I needed it. And I came back in 2022 completely refreshed. It was just phenomenal. I'm going to be taking another vacation with my family. Especially if you're a family person, if you got kids, if you got a wife, husband, whatever, you got to pay attention to those around you. This can suck up all your time if you let it. This can suck up all your energy if you let it. Thank you, Brian. I feel healed. Brian, that's so sweet of you. Yeah, no, I wasn't intending to have that at all. But yeah, I'm here giving you permission. If you're looking for permission, this is Nez telling you to take the break. Okay, get away, serve yourself a little bit, treat yourself a little bit. It's absolutely necessary, and it's a sound business investment. Being a content creator is a business. Don't get it twisted. It's actually the fastest rising small business in the last, 36 to 48 months. So it's really, really a sound business investment. Look at it that way. Your health is your number one gear, right? Your number one gear is in between your ear. It's not your microphone. It's not your fancy $6,000 camera. It's not your lighting. It's not your background. It's not your setup, okay? Your number one gear is between your ears. So you got to take care of that. Extremely, extremely important. Oh, good for you. Artist Haven. Taking 5 breaks. Very nice. Good for you. That's awesome. That's awesome. Proud of you, girl. Good for you. I might see you at VidCon. I might go check that out because it's in my backyard. I think it's in Anaheim, right, Tish? That's like literally in my backyard. It would be ridiculous of me not to go to VidCon. Glasses are off. That's exactly right. So if there aren't any questions, I would just implore you to use this video, use this podcast, use this stream as a reminder that if I, who's been doing this for decades, running businesses, a full-time content creator, if I, think it's important to take breaks, if I think it's extremely, extremely necessary to look at self-care, look at mental health as a part of your business strategy, a part of your operating strategy, etc., then I hope that you will too. Living in Dallas, Texas, is that Levi Lassick in the house? Good to see you, Leave. How you doing, Levi? Leave. I've already got a nickname for you, Levi. You didn't go last year. Did you go? Where are you going? Where are you going this year? You go to all the conferences, don't you, Levi? Where are you going this year? How many people are going to VidCon? Let me know in the chat. How many people are going to VidCon? I think VidCon's coming up. How many people are going to VidCon? I'd love to know. 35 years, Artist Haven. Wow. Okay. It's been 35 years since I've been to Cali. That's fantastic. No, I didn't go to Vid Summit. No, I've gone to Vid Summit so many times, man. So many times. And yeah, I'm going to try. Let's see what happens this year. I'm going to really try to make it this year. Are you going to VidCon, Levi? Wonder if you're going to VidCon. So you're definitely going to Vid Summit, Levi? Is that it? Who else is going to VidCon? Who else is going to some upcoming summer conferences? Okay, cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'll have to see about that. We've got so much, I've got so much stuff planned with the family. It's just really difficult. Most of those conferences come at a time where I'm really, it's just a time thing, man. It's just really a time thing for me. Anybody have any questions about this stream, the topic that we've been discussing, how I truly believe this is more important than anything? And it will end your career as a content creator, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a thought leader in a personal brand, if you don't think about taking care of yourself and taking time away and thinking about what can give you a renewed sense of perspective, a refreshed attitude toward your content and business. It sounds cliche. I know it sounds almost very bumper stickery, but retreats are there for a reason. There's a reason why companies have retreats. There's a reason why people get away, right? The whole concept of getting away from things is a real thing, and it's beneficial. I love you guys, and I want you to know I'm a resource for you too. So if you're ever feeling like you have nowhere else to turn, you can turn to moi. You can turn to Nez, and always feel free to reach out to me. I'll do my best. I can't always get to everybody, but I do my best. And I just want you to know I'm here for you. I'm always thinking about you. And I just can't say how much I appreciate you guys. Nez Nation, the greatest online community on planet Earth. I just love you guys so much. And so take these words for what they're worth. Please use them wisely. Please take care of yourself. Always know that there's somebody who cares. And on behalf of the entire Nez Nation family, this is your boy Nez, hoping that you will become a Nez Nation insider and make sure that you follow and subscribe. Becoming an insider will almost guarantee you that you'll never miss out, because what we talk about on this show is how to monetize your experience, skills, and creativity in the creator economy. This is the greatest time to be alive. And it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but taking breaks is essential. That is a sound business investment. Love you guys. Have a fantastic, fantastic week. Stay tuned. Not sure if I'm going to be going live next week. I might. Stay tuned. But if not, we've got a ton of streams that perhaps you've missed. I was talking about the passive income. I was talking about the business ideas. Links to all that will be in the description. Go check them out. I love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Take care of yourself. More than anything, take care of yourself. Love y'all. See ya.